My husband cheated on me with his coworker. The reason? I have an IQ of 152. I never cared about that number. I didn't grow up in a house where intelligence was currency. My mom was a nurse. My dad fixed cars. Being smart just meant you figured things out faster and kept your mouth shut about it. So when I met Daniel, and he thought my brain was the most attractive thing about me, it felt like a gift. Like someone finally saw the thing I'd always been told to hide. He would introduce me at parties and find a way to work it in within 5 minutes. My wife reads 3 books a week. Ask her anything about history. Seriously, anything. She learned Italian in 4 months just because she wanted to. He wasn't showing me off to make himself look good. He genuinely meant every word. There was this warmth in his voice, this real pride that I hadn't heard from anyone before, and I loved him for it. I thought we were different. We had been married 6 years when he suggested the IQ tests. His company was running some kind of cognitive profiling assessment for their team. He thought it would be fun to do it together at home first, just to see. I remember thinking it was a strange idea for a Sunday afternoon, but he seemed excited about it, and I liked making him happy, so I said yes. We sat at the kitchen table with coffee. The dog was asleep under my chair, sunlight coming through the window over the sink. It felt completely ordinary, like 100 other Sundays. I scored 152. He scored 118. He stared at the screen for a long time without saying anything. I made a joke about how the test was probably flawed. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. He said he was going to get some air. He was gone for almost 2 hours. That night, he was quiet at dinner. I thought he just needed time to sit with it. I understood that. I never mentioned the test again, not once. Not even when he brought up something I knew about and I could feel the answer right there, ready. I let him talk. I let him be the one who knew things. But something shifted in ways I couldn't name at first. He stopped reaching for my hand when we watched TV. That sounds small, but we'd done it every single night for 6 years without thinking about it. Then he stopped asking for my opinion. Work decisions, whether to call his dad after an argument, what to do about the noise the car was making. I used to be his first call on anything. Then one day he just stopped and I kept waiting for it to come back and it never did. He started coming home later. 40 minutes, sometimes an hour. He seemed fine when he walked in. Not guilty, not cold, just quieter in a way I couldn't pin down. I told myself it was the project at work. I wanted to believe it because I didn't want to look at the other thing. Then one evening he left his phone on the counter while he showered. A message came through from his brother Marcus. I wasn't going to read it. I want to be clear about that. But my name was right there in the preview, and something made my hand move before I'd decided anything. I scrolled up. It was a long conversation, weeks of it. Daniel had told Marcus everything, how he felt after the test, how he kept running that number gap in his head and couldn't stop, how he'd started to feel like a stranger in his own marriage, like no matter what he said, I was always 3 moves ahead. He said it felt like performing, like he was always slightly behind and I was too polite to say so. And then there was a name, Renee, a woman from his office. He told Marcus that being with her felt easy. She didn't make him feel like he had to keep up. He said she laughed at his jokes without the pause I apparently had. He wrote that she made him feel like the smartest person in the room again. Marcus asked what she was like. Daniel said fun, simple, uncomplicated. Then Marcus asked if she'd done the office assessment. Daniel said yes. Marcus asked what she got. Daniel said 104, just like that. He offered the number like it closed the case. I put the phone back exactly where it was. I walked to the couch and sat down and stared at nothing. He came out 20 minutes later in his pajamas, hair still damp, and asked if I wanted to watch something. I said sure. We watched half a movie and I couldn't tell you a single thing about it. That was 5 days ago. He has no idea I know. He kissed me goodbye this morning and said he'd be home by 7. I said okay. The door closed. I listened to his car leave, and I sat there with my coffee going cold, thinking about that Sunday. The dog under my chair, the light through the window, how neither of us knew what that hour was going to cost. I never wanted to be the smartest person in the room. I just wanted to be in the room with him. He did the math. He didn't like the answer. So he found someone who made the equation easier, and he never once stopped to think about what it would cost me.